we meet again, team. We meet again.
Yeah, we meet again.
Indeed, I am capable. The other day, I realized that I spend a lot of my time on social media, and it's made me so grounded and know what's going on, and it's great. I love it.
That's why I said the lady most capable.
Thank you. I'll take it. I'll take it away. Good morning, Nigeria. As always, TVC has a finger on the pulse and an eye on the streets. And here on the Trending Now segment on the TVC Breakfast Show, we do our best to bring you trending stories that are shaping the world that you and I live in. We begin today with some interesting news. Nigeria is once again chasing down debts. This time, not from within, but across its borders. According to fresh data from the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, two neighboring countries, the Benin Republic and Togo, owe Nigeria millions for electricity supplied in the first quarter of 2025. Now, the reports say that Togo hasn't paid a single naira and the Benin Republic had made only a partial payment, and together they apparently owe Nigeria over $11 million. Now, Nigeria actually invoiced 6 international customers a total of $17.24 million during the same period, but managed to recover only $5.8 million. But this isn't just a foreign problem. The NERC insists that back home, while some industrial users settle their bills, many others, including some government-owned entities, are still defaulting and are racking up hundreds of millions of naira in unpaid electricity bills. The regulator, NERC, says that this pattern of non-payment on both domestic and international fronts is not new, but it's becoming dangerous. They've issued repeated warnings and even threatened to cut supply to Benin Republic and Togo, saying that these shortfalls are putting real pressure on the stability of Nigeria's already fragile power sector. Now, I think that this is a very frustrating contradiction, of course. Nigeria is the regional power supplier, and to see that the people that are relying on us for electricity often have more stable supply than us is very ironic. But it's important to note that the data is showing that they don't actually have better power supply or better systems than us. They're just smaller and don't require as much power. I know that cities like Lomé and Cotonou are notorious for having great power. They're smaller than us, so they don't need as much. But let's take a look at social media. Of course, Nigerians reacted to this news. It's just like, how can they be owing us when we're giving them? Anime Otaku says, una don't see say as we they owe people too they owe us. Make una stop to the rant. And Ugu Diasu says, we still never get enough, una they sell. A man whose house is on fire, but he sells water to the fisherman. Interesting. Moving on, in a very sad development, nearly 4 years after her son's tragic and controversial death shook Nigeria, the mother of late Dowen College student Sylvester Oromoni Jr. is set to be laid to rest. Evangelist Mrs. Rosemary Oromoni, who passed away in November 2024, will be buried on the 9th of August at her family compound in Warri, Delta State. Her death came just months after her son was finally buried, following years of public outcry, legal battles, and inconclusive investigations. Now, Mrs. Oromoni had reportedly battled depression and high blood pressure, conditions that people are saying worsened in the wake of Sylvester's death in 2021. Young Sylvester died at the age of 12 under suspicious circumstances at Dowen College, Lagos, and his family insisted that he was bullied and poisoned by senior students, an allegation which the school denied, claiming that he was injured during a game of football. The Oromoni family was, of course, disheartened by the outcome and delayed Sylvester's burial for over 2 years. As funeral plans are being finalized, many Nigerians continue to remember the Oromoni family's painful journey and the broader question that it raises about bullying, the safety of our schools, and the justice for those young people who are harmed in schools. I think that this woman died from a broken heart. Now, these aren't just words. There actually is a syndrome called Takotsuba cardiomyopathy, which is called the broken heart syndrome, in which your heart can drastically change due to trauma such as this. May her soul rest in perfect peace. Let's take a look at social media. We must always look back in order to look forward. Abiola says, R.I.P. Mama Sylvester. People who know the husband even remotely, distantly, slightly, or faintly should please get in touch with him regularly. He must be going through so much pain. Oba of Vibe says, she buried her son without closure, and now the same system gets to bury her without guilt. This country breaks people, then pretends to mourn them. Oh. Team, we remember this whole scandal concerning Dowen College and the death of young Sylvester Oromoni. It's a shame that we have to watch as this woman is being laid to rest, never having gotten justice for her son. Do you think that the school system is changing in any way? Do we still see bullying of this gravitas?
Okay, I was so carried away looking at you while we were asking the question and so on. Sylvester Oromoni, bringing back the name brings a lot of sad memories to me. Too young. The guy was just too young. And the truth about it was that at that time, bullying was a thing in Dowen College. We had several reports of that, and look at what it has cost. Yes, Mama Oromoni definitely passed on due to heartbreak. You know, you don't know the bond between a mother and a child until something like this really happens. It's really unfortunate and sad. Her soul rests in perfect peace.
Man.
And I hope we will have learned from it as a people and as a government. All right, Togo and Benin owing 11, please make una pay the money fast. $11 trillion. Is that 11 billion? Sorry, billion dollars translates to a whole lot of naira, and Nigeria right now needs that naira. And I'm wondering what the Power Holding Authority is doing. We shouldn't be saying this on the breakfast show. Cut supply and demand for your money. Simple. It's business.
And business is definitely business. But I want to touch on the story of Sylvester, because that story really hits home, and it really hurts me that he passed away with such circumstances. I just hope that, you know, his story is a lesson for, you know, a lot of people that engage in bullying. When his story came out, it trended on social media, it was everywhere, very sad. My prayer is that no mother should bury her child. It's not a good thing. You cannot understand the connection between a mother and a child. And she was going through depression as well. Her BP went up, so it's evident that that all led, you know, to her passing. It's a very, very sad one. People should definitely look out for the husband. You know, just check if he's okay, check his mental health, losing your son, losing your wife. You know, I'll say the system failed Sylvester, because I don't even know if we've really gotten justice for him. At this point, it's really a sad one, and I hope that we've learned lessons from this. No child should go again from bullying. No child should even be bullied. You know, may the family just have the peace to, you know, move on with life. It's such a sad one.
I remember speaking with Sylvester Oromoni Jr.'s father, you know, right here on TVC one of the days, you know, on the news, and then the man was very, it was sad, but then, you know, as a man, just bottled it up and was expecting justice. Unfortunately, to the family, they feel that justice was never done because some of the accused were, you know, discharged and acquitted. That's on the one side. So the school, I guess it's been reopened. Yeah. Well, some will say that, well, life must go on because of regardless of whatever happens. But I think there's a whole lot that is needed to be done, because so many children, so many parents are worried whenever they take their wards to school, different schools, boarding schools. They expect that the school should take care of these children. You know, it's in their custody, it's in their care. So they should do everything to make sure that their children are safe. So there is so much to learn, so much lessons for us. And you never can tell, because someone will feel, well, God took him. Why did the mother have to fall into depression? If it has never stung you, you wouldn't know how it feels. Yeah. Some might be able to, you know, get out of it. Others might never recover. And we've seen, you know, a case like this. We say, may God rest their souls. It's so sad. That of the foreign countries, you know, owing Nigeria, it is part of the treaty, bilateral relations, you know, the ECOWAS region that was signed, you know, between these countries that, you know, make West Africa have access to the national grid, because Nigeria has the capacity to generate a whole lot. And if you are giving you that power supply and you are still dissing us, you are telling us that, yeah, we live in darkness, but you have light, yet you're not paying for what you're consuming. I think it's not right. The fact that, yeah, we want to be our brother's keeper doesn't mean that we should do that to our own detriment. We are energy poverty, you know, electricity poverty nation. So we need this electricity. If they're not paying us, we need money to do a whole lot of things, but if they're not paying us, cut them off.
Absolutely, thank you. They say that grief is proof that once
Yeah.
we were loved and we experienced love. And I hope that at the very least, even though Darwin College never took responsibility for his death, they fixed their systems in-house so we never have to report news like this again. Thank you so much, team. Moving on in the international but also local front, billionaire philanthropist Bill Gates is at the center of a heated social media storm following the release of a new Gates Foundation advocacy video featuring Nigerian rapper M.I. Abaga and popular content creators Alayi Wasabi and Brother Shaggy. Now, while the video was seemingly aimed at promoting awareness around development issues in Africa, critics are saying that it struck the wrong tone, suggesting that Bill Gates, once again, is being positioned as a solution to Africa's problems, or a white savior, if you will. Take a look at this advocacy video from the Gates Foundation.
Survive, my people go survive. This continent go shine.
Something is missing. Can you come right away? I need your help. Hey!
Hey, so what's the problem?
Well, we're close, but it's missing something.
All right, let me hear it.
All right,
This continent go shine. Oh, my people go survive.
That's good, but it's still missing us. It's missing our connectedness. So I think we have to make it show that we're all in this together.
that's it.
Africa go survive.
Man, how do you stay so optimistic when there are so many challenges around us?
Well, I'm both optimistic and realistic. We have a lot more to do, a lot of innovation, so, I know we can solve these problems. Now, together, we go win.
Now, across X and Instagram, the backlash has been brutal. Many users accuse the campaign of pushing a white savior narrative, where African challenges are framed in ways that center Western intervention rather than local innovation and agency. The Nigerian influencers featured in the video are also catching a lot of heat. Some online voices have accused them of selling out or colluding with the West or the white man for a paycheck. Very interesting. Now, on one hand, he can't win. He did say a couple of months ago that he's going to donate majority of his $200 billion fortune to Africa. He was recently given the commander of the Federal Republic by the president. He's doing a lot of work. But on the other, I also understand that the video shows that he does provide solutions to Africa's problem. On the other hand, it also shows that he's partnering with local innovators to really understand the Nigerian culture and reality. And I think that, why are we knocking that? But let's take a look at social media. He says, isn't it just very silly and daft when you insult a Bill Gates who pushes his money in Africa while the numerous rulers in the continent are siphoning the money out? He doesn't owe Africa anything. If African rulers had sense, were responsible and not greedy, we wouldn't need a Bill Gates. I have to say we do have a culture of entitlement, eh? Dara says, this is the worst possible voice to sing. She's referring to the content creators and MI. She says, telling Nigerians and Africans that we cannot survive without them. He managed to portray himself as the savior, validate the fear of the elites, and also instill the idea that we cannot do it on our own. Surely, Lai, MI, and Brother Shaggy cannot be this silly together. Moving on now, in the world of sports. Last week, when the football world paused to mourn the tragic deaths of Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva, one absence at the funeral stirred emotions across Portugal and far beyond. Cristiano Ronaldo, Portugal's captain and most iconic player, wasn't there. Instead, he was photographed aboard his £5.5 million yacht, anchored off the coast of Mallorca. Now, at first glance, this image may seem jarring and insensitive. As his teammates gathered to say goodbye, Ronaldo appeared miles away, both literally and emotionally. But reports suggest that his decision to stay away was deliberate and made out of respect, actually. Sources are saying that Ronaldo didn't want his presence to create a media circus or steal attention from the grieving family. In his mind, silence was more dignified than spectacle. Still, while he may have been absent in person, he wasn't absent in spirit. Portuguese media is reporting that Ronaldo reached out directly to Diogo Jota's wife, Rute, and promised to stand by her and her children, not just now, but in the long road ahead. R.I.P. Diogo Jota. This is very interesting. We live in a world where even the most somber and the most grief-stricken moments are celebritized. And so I understand his perspective. But let's take a look at social media. Paul Sedel says, If he thinks he will be a distraction, he's actually delusional. Half of the people there are professional footballers. And X-Boo says, Cristiano Ronaldo's decision to skip Diogo Jota and Andre Silva's funeral to avoid overshadowing their farewell shows deep respect and sensitivity. Interesting. I know that Pele, even at the height of his fame, would attend all sorts of events, you know. But anyway, moving on, I have some good news for you guys. It's a proud moment for Nigeria and a massive win for young brilliance out of Delta State. Students from Delta, representing Nigeria, have been crowned world champions at the prestigious World School Debate Championship held in Doha, Qatar, and they defeated some of the best young debaters from across the globe. The team earned their spot on the world stage after clinching victory at the national finals of the Presidential Schools Debate Nigeria, organized under the presidency. The winning team is made up of sharp young minds, and I'm going to list their names one by one because I'm very proud of you guys. We have Wisdom Chukwuma of Government College, Otovo Uyoyi of Alegbi Secondary School, Abraham Ono from Okpako Secondary School, and Ekamate Splendor of Government Model Secondary School, and Alika Daniel from Utagba Ogbe Grammar School. Congratulations. This victory isn't just a trophy moment for you guys. It is an inspiration, a reminder to us Nigerians of what is possible when we invest in education, critical thinking, and the power of youth. Now, a pattern that I noticed is that a lot of the people who won, the debaters, my little debaters, if you will, they're from government secondary schools. We know that government secondary schools have reputations of being overcrowded and underfunded, and this proves that excellence can come from any classroom. Congratulations, guys. Let's take a look at social media. Oba of Vibe says, they've made the country proud abroad, but watch how the government forgets their names by next week. No endorsements, no scholarships, just congratulations and back to suffering. I put it to you that it was the presidency that organized this opportunity in the first place. But Oba of Bands also says, they'll trend today for winning debates, but still struggle to find jobs tomorrow. Because in Nigeria, brains get applause, but never real reward. Again, the presidency organized it. But before I hand over to my very capable team, please, guys, chime in on any social media platform with the hashtag TrendingNowTVC. I promise that I am listening. Team, this is all very interesting, isn't it? I've got some, these are juicy stories.
Yes, I'm looking
So much
at
is
the
happening.
I'm looking at the names of the schools. Government College Ugeli, Alegbo Secondary School, Eforum, Okpaka Secondary School. You know, it goes to show that the school doesn't matter. The systems those schools have allow for engagements. It allows for students to fight and move towards something. Congratulations to these children. And yes, that person that wrote the comment that says that they should be given scholarships, I agree with you 150%, even though Mr. President was the one that started the whole thing. Because they have made Nigerian proud. Look at these little kids, best in the world. Man, we should give them scholarship up to PhD level.
I hope Etoma has been able to convince you and not confuse you.
And Ronaldo not being around in Jota's funeral, I think that was a mark of respect. Yes, but if I was Ronaldo, I wouldn't have been in a yacht swimming and all that. Maybe I would have been in my home, you know, just to show that somber moment that I connect with the tragedy. And anybody criticizing MI and the rest that made a picking on that, then why are they in the business that they are doing? It's work for them. And if it came from Bill Gates, that means the check is big. So they're just doing their jobs.
But Olamide, I know Ronaldo fans will come for me, but I think he needs to tone down a little bit. I don't think there was no reason why he shouldn't have been there, and saying that if he was there, people would. Like, what are you saying? The people that were there were players. Why didn't you go with your security? And then there's a video of you, like, what are you saying? Ronaldo needs to, you know, he needs to calm it down a little bit. I think that was just too much. There was no reason for that. I know his fans will come at me, but nah, I think the pride needs to go down a little bit. But let me talk about the children. I say this a lot of times. Nigerian children are intelligent. If you give them the opportunity, they will surprise you, and that's exactly what they have done. I pray that these children get the scholarship. I pray that we give them what they need, you know, to continue doing the great job. Because if we do not equip them with what they need, they will fall short. You know, oftentimes we've seen children on TikTok doing different things, but these children children are making us proud. So we need to give them their rewards for other people to see that if you do good in life, you will receive the reward. So please, our government, let's look at these children and let's make sure that they receive all they need to receive.
Absolutely, there is no gainsaying that Nigerian children, students, pupils are doing so well if they are given the right, environment, the condition. Because most of them, even sometimes when you see some from the polytechnic go to the university, they tend to even do better than the people that they meet there. And some of them, even within the university, within the country, Nigeria, go outside of the country, they still trounce their counterparts. So it goes to show that we have everything. All it takes when it comes to the mental ability, mental capability or capacity. So the thing that we need to do is to invest more in education. Our government should see this and not just exporting the brilliant ones, but making sure that whatever it is that we do to them, we make the environment better so that they will be able to come back. That of the MI Abaga, the collaboration, whatever it is that I think the critics, they are not exactly cynics, but they are probably paranoid regarding the fact that, yes, what the whites had done to us back in the day, we can never take the fact out of it. We can never take that out of history, that, the British, the white, the Western world, really, really did so bad to Africans. That is established. And not every one of them is interested in our progress, is interested in our success. But then, that doesn't mean that we should not collaborate intelligently with them if there is anything that we need to do. We just have to open our heads.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Well, I think that's all we have. Olamide, that's all we have, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's been a fantastic show, but let's let you know that the views and reactions of our guests are theirs and have no connection whatsoever with TVC. Your view is very important to us, so Morayo and the beautiful ladies are standing by, and just after that is This Morning with Yori Folari. Good morning, Nigeria.